When is a coup a crime, and when is it a cry for justice? This question echoes through the heart of Burkina Faso, a nation grappling with the aftermath of Captain Ibrahim Traoré's dramatic rise to power. In a whirlwind of events, Traoré, a young captain fueled by the frustrations of a nation, seized control, promising a new era for Burkina Faso. The old regime, riddled with allegations of corruption and failing to curb the escalating insecurity, crumbled under the weight of its own failings. Traoré, a man of the people, resonated with the widespread discontent. He became the voice of the voiceless, vowing to prioritize the nation's security and break free from the shackles of foreign influence. His actions, though drastic, were driven by a desperate need for change, a change that many Burkinabe yearned for. Traoré's takeover sent shockwaves through the international community. Some condemned his actions, labeling him a usurper, while others saw a glimmer of hope in his promises. The world watched, holding its breath, as this young captain took the reins of a nation on the brink. His success or failure would not only determine Burkina Faso's fate, but also serve as a litmus test for similar movements across the continent. The coup in Burkina Faso sent ripples across the Atlantic, reaching the shores of America. A prominent Black U.S. general, a figure who had risen through the ranks of a system built on the backs of enslaved Africans, publicly condemned Traoré's actions, calling for his immediate arrest. The general's statement ignited a firestorm of debate, exposing the complex relationship between Africa and its diaspora. Supporters of the general applauded his stance, viewing Traoré's actions as a dangerous precedent in a region already grappling with instability. They argued that any deviation from democratic norms, no matter how well-intentioned, would only plunge the nation further into chaos. However, critics saw the general's condemnation as a tone-deaf response from a nation with a long history of meddling in African affairs. They pointed to America's own past, a past marred by coups and interventions orchestrated to further its own interests. The general's call for Traoré's arrest, they argued, reeked of hypocrisy, a stark reminder of the double standards often applied to African nations. The debate raged on, highlighting the deep divisions that existed, not just within Burkina Faso but within the global community. In the aftermath of the coup, the political landscape of Burkina Faso resembled a giant chessboard, with various actors vying for power and influence. The deposed elite, once accustomed to the trappings of authority, found themselves on the losing end of this power struggle. Their grip on the levers of government, their access to resources, and their ability to shape the nation's narrative had been abruptly curtailed. Foreign powers, too, felt the tremors of Traoré's takeover. France, a long-standing player in Burkina Faso's affairs, saw its influence wane as Traoré forged new alliances with countries like Russia and China. The geopolitical landscape shifted, with new partnerships emerging and old allegiances being tested. But amidst these power plays, the most important question remained: who would ultimately benefit from this dramatic change in leadership? Would it be the ordinary people of Burkina Faso, the ones who had borne the brunt of corruption and insecurity for far too long? Or would the coup simply pave the way for a new set of elites to take control, leaving the underlying problems unresolved? The coup in Burkina Faso presents a moral dilemma, a complex tapestry woven with threads of hope and despair, justice and oppression. Was Traoré's takeover a necessary evil, a desperate act to salvage a nation on the brink? Or was it a blatant power grab, a betrayal of democratic principles that would only perpetuate the cycle of instability? International organizations like the International Crisis Group and Human Rights Watch have all weighed in, offering their analyses and recommendations. Their reports paint a nuanced picture, highlighting both the potential benefits and the inherent risks of such a dramatic power shift. Ultimately, the verdict on Traoré's coup will be determined by the long-term impact it has on Burkina Faso. Will he usher in an era of peace and prosperity, fulfilling his promises of security and stability? Or will his rule be marked by authoritarianism and repression, proving that the ends do not justify the means? The world is watching, waiting to see if Traoré's coup will be remembered as a cry for justice or a crime against democracy.